Hey Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
It's not bad. Where are we today?
We're at Sage Industrial in Fresno, California. It's a cool business. These guys came into my crosshairs a few years ago with clients looking for mold and mildew control, something ancillary they could add to their environmental control system. I thought it was pretty cool, and it applies to greenhouses and indoor. Let's check out what they got. Hey, Brian.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well. Steven. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Well, it smells clean in here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We're running our system, so
Oh, that's
keeping
great.
us all safe.
Yeah, you run it in this room itself?
Yeah, we run the whole facility.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? That's right.
Why not? We protect ourselves. So,
Well, give us a quick rundown.
well, basically, AirROS makes a purifier, an advanced purifier system that uses reactive oxygen to purify the air and surfaces. So that's our claim to fame, right? We have the ability to actually touch these surfaces, the doorknobs, everything that the air touches is protected by our equipment.
So all the little nooks and crannies
Nooks,
are being
crannies,
touched.
under tables, drains, especially, things like that
Right.
are like food. We've started in food, so we've started with food processors. We've done live plants, nuts, meat, fresh fish,
Yeah.
all that type of
Well,
stuff.
you're in the
Yeah.
Central Valley here.
Yeah.
It makes sense. All
Yeah.
the produce around.
Almonds, right?
How old's the business?
We've been about 10 years in business.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, we started in 2011. So.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And its building's really nice. How long you been here?
We moved here about a year ago.
Okay.
So we started in the back of my house.
Yeah. Hey,
and
that's
moved all the way
awesome.
to here.
Some of the best,
Hey, yeah.
companies in the whole entire world.
Started in the garage.
That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
yeah.
So what initially got you into the cannabis thing? Did a customer approach you?
Yeah,
or-
we've been in greenhouses. Like we had a customer that grew orchids, and when he was growing the orchids, he had great success. All of a sudden, he says, "Hey, I want to grow a cash crop.
Yeah.
What does this do for cannabis?" And I said, "I don't know. It kills mold, it kills bacteria, it kills odor." And he said, "Well, let's try it out." So that's how we originally launched into it. It was one of our customers flipped.
Oh, interesting.
From growing, orchids basically.
Right. And just a little bit I know about orchids.
Yeah.
Lower light, higher humidity.
Yes.
So I'm sure that transition to cannabis
the mold
was tough.
control, yeah. It was cannabis was tough for us at first. Yeah, they're more sensitive to any type of a sanitizer that's in the environment. Obviously, the light controls, humidity controls, things like that. So we've actually, since about 17 is when we got into it. We started in at the end of 2017. And we've actually developed our control systems more and more because of cannabis to have better control systems.
So you have your own separate control for your own device. Is it compatible with other industry controllers?
Yeah, like it'll tie into like greenhouse controls and things like that. So we have a couple ways of integrating with their systems so that you can monitor, I'm monitoring relative humidity, I'm monitoring my CO2, I can see the ROS levels as well.
How many models do you have?
There's about 18 configurations.
Oh, wow.
They all fit primarily in 4 classes of models. So we start with small models that we call the 40XX series. So it's a small model that'll do anywhere from, depends on the application. So we have to size based on the application. But in cannabis, we can do up to 10,000 cubic feet potentially with one of these. And we talk cubic because we're treating all of the
volume,
air.
right?
Yeah, the volume of air.
So I guess what I'm thinking about is a few different things. Are there times in the growth cycle that are unsafe for the product?
No.
So you can tackle it even ancillary areas,
Yeah,
drying,
we do.
trimming.
We have people treat hallways even.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Right.
because
Offices.
of cross-contamination. Offices now is a big thing for us with killing coronavirus that
Right.
we do. We call it an indiscriminate killer. Like I've had blueberry farmers go, well, what does it do on blueberries? It kills mold. What does it do on pomegranates? It kills mold.
Yeah.
What does it do on cannabis? It kills mold. It kills the odors, the VOCs in the air. It does indiscriminate killer for that.
So it's even tackling odor.
Yeah, VOCs is a big thing. That's one of the orchid farmer I was talking about. He went and outfitted one of his multiple greenhouses with the unit for the cannabis that because I'm going to grow cannabis.
Right.
The next day, his parents own the facility. They came in and they're like, "What happened? Did you lose the crop?" And he goes, "Why?" He goes, well, "They can't smell it. They're used to driving up and smelling the cannabis, and it was gone." So we had people do that. The very first people that tested in dry rooms are like, oh my gosh, you killed everything.
Right.
And they turned off the system and all of a sudden
Start
the
smelling
smell
again.
comes back.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, I'm killing the VOCs in the air, not what creates the VOCs.
I could imagine that being a significant amount of pushback for early adopters is, does this zap the terps?
Terps, flavor profiles, all of the potency testing. And so we've had a lot of our first adopters, we didn't realize how big they were. There's some large customers, and they did all that testing, and they're like, yeah, you're not affecting my terps, you're not affecting this. I'm growing strains that used to not be, they're not very healthy strain, they're hard to grow, and I'm getting full crops out of them, and we're passing state labs.
Right.
So it was one of the things we didn't really know in the very beginning is, what are we going to do to the terpenes and things like that? So luckily we have a lot of good customers now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And they've given us a lot of data about that is not an issue.
And it's a fresh product. I mean, the consumer is demanding it get tested, let alone the regulations.
Yes.
Is it easier for you to implement this early in the design process, or is it more of a retrofit solution?
Both, really. I mean, for us, we can add it at any time in the process.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you already have a huge PM outbreak and I put it in there, now the PM might die, but it's still on the plant, right? I can't abate mold.
Right.
I can kill it, but it's not going to remove it.
Right. You're
from the
keeping it
wall
at
or
bay.
whatever. Yeah. I'm always stopping it. So it's better the earlier in the process you get it in the growth cycle. Doesn't matter if it's an old building or a new building. That's not a problem. We are, even this large unit, which we'll do in Cannabis, this will probably roughly do about 45,000 cubic feet. A lot of times they're used in greenhouses, multiple of these. This only draws 3 amps.
Oh, really?
So it's not like, oh, now I have to put in an extra electrical circuit in order to handle this.
Right.
It draws, 3 amps. The triple stack, this guy will do 3 times as much as that one, and it's still under 8 amps, right about 8 amps.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Very low power.
And is it voltages? What voltage do you offer?
Yeah, this comes in single phase 120, and we have a world power, so we have a 230, 240 volt.
Okay.
It's single phase.
Okay.
So it's not 240 for the US. They all run on 120 single phase.
Okay.
So we have to invert for world power. But so all of them, depending on the size, take less amount of amperage. So we start with like the small I talked about, our XX series. We go to a YY series, which is the next step up. ZZ is a little longer, looks exactly like this. We can show you in production what a ZZ looks like. Then it goes to the 4120, and then we do even make 4240s, which are our NEMA 4 and even NEMA 4X versions. So I have these on stainless steel with an air conditioner and heater on the side of it, on top of a roof in the snow in Dakota City.
Oh my gosh.
Year round.
Wow.
And so we make those for specialty applications for outdoor use, things like that.
How about I'm assuming a lot of it has to do with contact time across the unit itself. When you have a constant ventilation in a greenhouse, do you find you need to deploy more of
That's
these?
where we're very different. So a lot of our customers are ask us, hey, what's your CFM? This guy's only running 150 CFM or less.
Oh, wow.
One of these guys is like 28 CFM. I don't have
Hardly anything.
I don't have to turn the air in order to treat it because I have a sanitizer. So the way it's working is it's taking the ambient air in, humidity, right, whatever's in the air, taking that in, applying a high voltage, high frequency pulse, creating reactive oxygen. The reactive oxygen that's inside is very short-lived, so it doesn't even make it out of the unit. So anything that comes into contact with that is being killed, negated, spores, everything, destroyed. DNA, RNA level, destruction. Anything that is in the environment itself that doesn't go through here. So what happens when a plant gets PM? Spore relates, the spore now moves to plant 2. If that spore doesn't go through a purifier, it doesn't get killed. But with our system, because we have the sanitizer in the environment, I kill plant to plant.
Yeah, you're killing it.
So that is our claim to fame. So I don't have to turn it all here. I don't have to have dwell time in here because I have a even level sanitizer in the room at all times.
Right, wow.
So it protects here irregardless of whether I've actually filtered the air or not. In some cases, like in a lot of makeup air units, like for schools or for meat processors, the air is being pushed out, it never recirculates.
Yeah.
And I still have 90% reduction real world testing.
Wow.
So it's a dramatic thing because of the output of our unit.
Is it common to put this in an application that would clean the air duct or ultimately maintain your HVAC?
You can. I mean, it's a two for
It's a byproduct.
It's a byproduct, right? So if I run this and tap it like we did in our room here, in the offices here, we're tapped into the duct. The duct diffuses all the clean air everywhere.
Right.
So in essence, am I cleaning the duct? Yes. And am I also cleaning the spaces? Yes.
Right.
As well as any of the air that goes through.
Okay.
So it's a multi-step process.
So the only real consumables, I see like a filter here and a filter here.
Yeah, you really there's 3 consumables. The filter, really difficult to change, you know. Comes out and goes back in. Really difficult, sorry.
2 seconds.
I'll slow down for you. The chamber inside, which we'll show chambers later, but there's a chamber inside where the reaction takes place. What happens is all the broken microbes, the destroyed microbes, they're not even really alive anymore. They're destroyed cells collect as a film on the chamber, and eventually the electrical field does not create. And so you're not getting ROS production long term. But the way you know that is through the sensor. The sensor is always detecting the saturated level in the room to keep it at safe levels, to keep, hey, I need to up the production because the door open. I need to slow down because the door closed. It's blackout curtains at night in a greenhouse. Hey, the volume of space just got shorter.
So when this thing tells you all of a sudden, I have a higher count than normal, this thing isn't capturing it as well.
Right,
so you replace
shut it off. Yeah, so as soon as you're not getting basic levels in the room, then you know that it's time to either change the filter because it's not getting airflow, change both the filter in the chamber, or potentially even the sensor as well.
Right.
So those are the only 3 consumables.
So I'm an indoor grower, I want to apply this. Does this controller have, is it lit up, the back display?
That is lit up. So this one most likely wouldn't go into Cannabis, whereas...
Could go in the hallway outside the room.
A lot of hallways we do that. Now the other thing we do offer where the purifier is in the room. This is in the hallway. So you can have every room, all the controllers outside, you can see them. They can be locked, nobody can touch it, but you can read them. But the sensor is inside, so it becomes a 3-piece.
Oh, wow.
Versus something like this is an all-in-one, right? Controller, sensor, everything. This one's even portable with feet. You know, this is an all-in-one. Whereas if you do a controller like this or this, the Cannabis controller tends to be this one because it's solid. So you have a blackout, basically capability, and then they open it up to get the readings.
I see.
Inside.
That makes sense.
So that's the only difference. So this came because Cannabis customers were like, feedback. What do we do about light deprivation?
Right.
Like, good question. Let's get them with solid.
Yeah.
And then all the lights on the large units now are offered in full green.
You're doing green.
Because our agriculture is white, blue, and the green. And they didn't want any blue light. So we have an all green Cannabis option. All of them now have a switch capable, so you can open them up. I'm not sure if a switch is installed in this tester, but we'll check. Nope. But all of these can come with a switch, and all of the lights on all the units go out in the room. So from the control, you can look and see if something's on or off, but all the lights are off.
Wow.
So you can remotely turn those lights off.
I like how quickly you adapted.
We have to.
Yeah.
I mean, really, ultimately, we're providing a solution to a problem. I want to pass state testing. I have odor control issues. I have obviously mold issues and loss issues. So we're trying to provide a solution. So when you said, hey, what model is it? Well, about 18. Do you want solid? Do you want it with a switch? Do you need it with a sensor? Do you need it for through and through? It's going into a duct. Or no, I'm mounting it above, just want to mount it and pipe it above fans. We even will provide a inflatable sock with holes in it that you literally comes in this, catch it here, and it inflates out, and now I'm diffusing evenly throughout your room without you having to run a bunch of hard pipe. So,
well, man, this is awesome.
Right.
Why don't
you take a walk through?
Show me inside, please. Yeah,
come on this way. This is behind the curtain.
All right.
So these are the people that make it happen.
What's going on, guys?
The best team in the world, right here.
Wow.
So depending on what we do production in lines, so depending on what we're doing, we'll have a set of controllers going that may be like we talked about the solid lid, Cannabis. We may have a whole set of them going for environmental. Various XX models, YY models constantly moving through the process. So they'll go from parts to a pre-build, where we don't know what the model's gonna be yet, to then finally having it configured. Like I mentioned, there's about 5-6 models that are available for this, let alone some of the configurations that can happen on top of that. And so we'll get it to a point so that the turnaround to the customer is faster.
Come back and do the pretty stuff.
Like go, hey, look at this process.
And then you
You can get as close as you want, but be aware it's high voltage. So there'll be a distance where it'll be a problem for your camera.
So there's that's it, right? That was the competitors.
That was their big issue.
I mean, we have people coming to. Oh, great.